Okay, I'm going to talk about reloads in this video and how to practice them for USPSA competitions. I'm making this video for a friend of mine who recently got into USPSA and just trying to help him with some of his technique and show him the way that I do them and the way that I practice them. This isn't necessarily reloads for the tactical world or for the tactical environment. That being said, this isn't how you'll typically be taught them in that world, but this way is how I would do it now if I was back in that world, having gone in both directions. But it will contend with some of the techniques that are taught from that world. So if you're from that world, just realize I'm talking about the sport aspect of this and how to reload quickly for the sporting, for USPSA competitions. The big thing we want to make sure, of course, because we're going to be dry firing this, is everything's empty, no live rounds, the gun's clear, magazines. I have this trainer magazine and I have a real magazine that I use for practice with these blue inert bullets that I made. No powder and no primer, similar weight, not exact weight. And in the last video I did on dry fire, I talked a lot about having some weight in the gun and using one of these double alpha magazines that simulate weight. For reloads, for this practice, I'm not going to reload to this because it has a different feel than the actual match magazine. So I'm going to use a real magazine with some bullets in it to simulate the grip and to simulate the weight and to simulate the actual mag, because it is an actual mag. Next thing I want to mention real quick is, again, you have to master this through practice in the dry fire realm. Practice this in your garage, practice 25 reps in the beginning, then work up to 50. Typically I would dry fire, especially with my PCC gun, 50 mag loads every night. And if you can do that on a regular basis and stick them all, you're set to be on a good path to master the reload. And then of course, once you practice it a lot here, take it to the range and test out what you've learned and what you've refined here. The dry fire world also just allows you to find what's most efficient and make tweaks while not expending ammo and getting those reps in, because repetition and making everything the same every time and making it as efficient and fast as possible is going to be what translates over to the matches and gives you success with the reloads. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just demonstrate a couple, and we're going to practice the reload from an extended position. You're going to simulate you just took a shot, and then you're going to come to your belt, reload, and then present back out. We'll do this with no time at first. I'm using a carry optic setup, a Sig 320 X5 Legion, and on the carry optic, this stuff has to be exactly, the holster has to be on your right hip and the mag on your left hip if you're a right-hand shooter. In open, you'll see magazine pouches in the front. Same with PCC. You can't do that here. And also in carry optic, which is essentially the same as production, which my friend shoots, you can't have a larger mag well. And these guns come with that, so you have to take it off to stay in the regulations, the USPSA regulations. Okay, so let's go through a couple, and then I'll break it down and I'll show you and talk about exactly what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Let's break that down. So basically, this is what I'm doing. The gun is extended, and when it's time to reload, I'm getting down to the belt. I'm going to break it left and right. Talk about what I'm doing with my left hand first, although all of this is happening at the same time. I'm bringing my left hand down, snapping it down as quickly as I can, taking this part of my hand and essentially hitting the top of the magazine well. Once there's contact there, I come up and then I'm racing it forward, racing it at this angle. Before we get to the insertion, let's talk about what this hand is doing in this, call it, first half. One additional thing I want to talk about at this point is in this, because this is for the sport of USPSA, we're not ever running the gun dry. Running the gun dry is bad to slide lock essentially. So none of our reloads are gonna be with a slide lock in mind. We're always, the slide's gonna be forward, and there's always gonna be a round in the chamber when we're doing our reload. So that's how we're gonna practice our reloads. So again, left hand's racing down. Here's what's happening with the right hand. So while that's coming down, I'm bringing the gun in a little and I'm hitting the mag release. That's gonna drop the magazine cleanly. Again, from this position, I am not sweeping or doing anything like that. I'm gonna bring it in a little in this vertical position. The gun's still straight up and down. I'm gonna bring it in, hit the mag release, and the mag's gonna drop straight out. Then I'm gonna rotate it and bring the whole package in to my chest, but not really in, and I'm not gonna keep it out. They're out here. There's gonna be a sweet spot for everyone, and you're gonna figure this out through dry fire. Well, so let me talk real quick about what I meant by I bring it in, hit the mag release, and I'm still keeping the gun upright. And what essentially happens is, and I'll use this trainer mag for this now, if I were to drop the magazine from here, or if I hit the mag release from this position, it's gonna fall. But if you notice, it's at this angle that the grip's naturally made at. So what I wanna do to make sure that it falls cleanly every time, I cant it a little, and now if you look, this is perfectly straight up and down. And so when you hit that, it's really gonna fall out cleanly because it's going straight down. So you wanna make sure, that way you're not having to do the finger flick, that your gear, essentially the weight in the magazines, the extra weight of the base pad, that's all gonna help your magazine fall cleanly, but also by canting this up, so you're basically pointing the gun to the sky a little, it's gonna really make sure that the magazine falls straight out. So watch, I'm coming back, pull here, drop, and then I rotate into this position. For me, it's about right here. Something you don't want to do here is rotate while you're hitting the mag release. So if I bang and now I have to do a mag release and I get to here and I hit the mag release, see what happens? The magazine doesn't come out. So you have to make sure you hit the mag release before you rotate, and then you rotate in. So one more time, bad. Here's what bad would look like. And see, and then you have to flick it. And there's no reason to flick it if you practice this enough. If you practice this enough, when you come back, hit it, the magazine will just drop out and then rotate over. So that's the first half. This left hand's going over here, hitting this, mag release, rotate. This is coming out, and these are both gonna meet at this nice position here. And again, it's not too far down, so I'm looking down. It's not at my eye level. I have it just underneath my eye level. Maybe even if we look at this, just underneath my chin, it gets to here. And for me, I feel like this is a good position and place for it to meet and go in. Through doing this, through doing hundreds of reps and thousands of reps, for sure with my PCC gun, I was able to figure out where a good spot for me is. And I was able to figure out what too close is. That doesn't feel good to me. And I was able to identify what too far out is. And when it's too far out, it feels like you're reaching. You'll only figure that out through multiple reps, through multiple reps of dry fire. So you come in here and out. Again, we're here. Bang, hand comes back, hit the mag, slight tilt, hit the mag release, rotate. By the time you rotate, the magazine is here, it goes in, and then you just roll your hands forward. So now let's talk about the back half. So we're here, everything's coming together to meet. I do look down at the magazine, at the grip at the magazine well. There's no especially this is sport, this is not tactical, and honestly, even in tactical, had my gun gone dry, my pistol, there's probably multiple other areas where shit hit the fan, and I would not be doing a standing reload. I'd be looking for cover. But that's another discussion that's not at all part of this video. So here I'm looking down just to make sure that there's success. As soon as I feel it going in, I push it in with the palm of my hand. I'm looking back on target, and then you just rotate the gun over, reestablish your grip, and present out, and the dot should be on target. If you notice, I'm not doing any of this with the magazine in here. So to practice and to get a lot of reps in, it's a lot of wasted time and effort to continue to bend over and pick up an empty magazine in a dry fire session. That being said, if you need to figure out this half that I'm talking about, where you get the magazine to drop cleanly, because you're not getting the magazine to drop cleanly, practice with the mag. So here's what it looked like practicing with the mag. But once you get past that, and once you have confidence that your magazine will drop cleanly, then just move to practicing with no magazine in the gun and one magazine in your pouch that you're reloading to. Now let's take this to the timer. Let's set a par time. For my friend who's a new shooter, he's probably going to want to start at 2 seconds and do 10 reps at 2 seconds, actually 10 warm-up reps, then 10 reps at 2 seconds, then, 2 seconds, then 10 reps at 1.9 and work his way down. I would probably start with 1.5 and then I'd work my way down to 1 second. 1 second for me on this platform would be really hard right now, but that would be my goal, to get around 1 second and under. So I'm going to do dry fire with the par time set at 1.5 seconds. And here's what we're looking at here. So the dot's on the target, the buzzer's going to go, you're going to do the reload, and you're going to finish back on target before it goes for a second time. Okay, I made the 1.5. If you also look, coming in, it wasn't as clean as it could have been. I had a little hit, but I recovered and I was able to make that time. So I'd work 10 and then I'd reduce the time and keep going forward. Another drill you can do, and there's a concept I want to talk about in a second. So that's one good drill to do. If you're having trouble here, because this is a point of precision and accuracy, essentially, trying to get these two to meet cleanly, there's another drill you can do. So you're coming here and you're trying to get this to meet and get that in cleanly without hitting here, without hitting there, without going to the side. There's a drill called Briquette Reloads. And basically what a Briquette reload is, it's after a shooter named Matt Briquette, who was a big name in the shooting sport of USPSA a number of years ago. And what you're doing here is you're gonna use a par time. I'll use 1.5 because it's set there. And you're gonna stop right at where the magazine's entering the grip. And you're not gonna go in. So all you're gonna do is stop, and you're just gonna build that speed and precision to that 1 point. I'm not gonna use the timer again because that's too long of time. And you just do that. And with this, with par time, you can really drop the par time and push the pace on these. And that just helps you understand where to hit it. So another concept we could talk about with this is go really fast, where you can go fast and slow up where you need to. Here on all of this, you can get fast there, and if you need to for a split second, especially to increase the chances of you making it, slow down and then go in, and then fast here. Again, fast on the return to target. So I'll show you what that concept looks like. So I'm thinking fast, and then I'm gonna slow up slightly, and then fast again. And then I missed altogether. So let's do it again. Though you want to get to a point where you're not doing that, where it's just fast all the way through. And these are all the things you practice and experiment with in training, in dry fire, and play with, and see where you can really speed up, see where you have to slow down. And sometimes in a match, that reload might be really critical. So you are thinking, I'm just gonna slow up just a little to get it in cleanly. One more drill I wanna talk about in terms of dry fire that I actually like to practice a lot, just to break up this standing here and reload, is draw 1, reload 1. So I'll set the par time at 3 seconds for this. And you can do this from hands above shoulders. You can do this hands at side. You can do this from a 360. There's a lot of different options for how you can do this, but basically what you're gonna do is the par time will go off. You'll draw, present, get the dot on the target, reload, present back, and you'll do all of that in under your par time. For this, I'm setting it at 3 seconds. So here we go. Okay, that's that drill. It's a really good drill, especially if you want to work on multiple things in one session and you just don't want to stay out there. It's with the reload. But I only recommend doing drills like that once you feel really comfortable with the reload and aren't having to deal with it. I'm not going to use part-time, but another thing you could do is if you have multiple targets out, draw, bang, 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 bang. So you can get really creative with the your dry fire and how you practice the reloads. And I keep saying this over and over, it's all about reps. You gotta get into your garage, you gotta get into your room, wherever you have the equipment set up, make sure it's all clear, and then start working on that technique. Establish the technique that you find is optimal for you, and then practice the shit out of it. And when I was dry firing and practicing a lot with my PCC gun, I would work a technique for hundreds of reloads. And then if I found something that was maybe off whack or I could be more efficient on, I'd change it all up and start practicing that again and do hundreds, if not thousands of reps with the new technique until it was just solid. All right, Jeff, I hope that video helps. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.